In this video, we'll be going over the tools, test kits, lubricants, and change parts you'll need to maintain or adjust your Dixie double seamer. The tools you will need are a long shaft flat-headed screwdriver that's used for base plate adjustments and airlift adjustments, a chuck wrench that's used in conjunction with a 5/8 inch wrench to install or remove a chuck, a first operation gauge wire, and a second operation gauge wire for roughly adjusting the seam rolls. The thicker one is your first operation gauge wire, and the thinner one is your second operation gauge wire. A 7/16 inch wrench, which will be used to access the airlift on the airlift models. A 1/2 inch wrench for adjusting the airlift on the airlift models. A 5/8 inch wrench for adjusting the chuck. An 11/16 inch wrench, which is used for adjusting the seam rolls. A pair of end nippers, used for seam inspection and for making base plate adjustments. A ratcheting screwdriver for removing or installing seam rolls. And a 3/16 inch Allen wrench, used for adjusting seam rolls. For lubrication, you'll need an oiler with a long spout, 1 cartridge of food-grade grease, 1 pint of food-grade oil, a non-rinse cleaning product, to be added to a spray bottle and mixed with water for sanitizing your machine. For testing your adjustments, you'll need a pair of end nippers, a sanitary can opener, a digital caliper, a seam micrometer, a D-square file smooth grade, and a vacuum test gauge. Here are the change parts you'll be working with. There are 4 main parts. You have the base plate. The base plate has an adjustment screw on the top and a locking screw on the bottom. Then you have the chuck. The end of the can fits onto the chuck. Then you have the first operation seam roll, which establishes the double seam. Next is the second operation seam roll, which irons out the seam, making up the proper tightness, assuring a quality seal. Occasionally, you will have a 5th change part, called a height spacer. These come in varying dimensions and are used when you need to set the Dixie double seamer up for a different size can than the size you've been running. In the next video, we'll go over the 5 steps for installing or adjusting the change parts on your Dixie seamer. For complete instructions, go to dixiecanner.com and download the manual.